The stadium lights shimmered like a constellation above the court, casting long shadows across the blue surface. The air was tense, thick with anticipation. Every spectator could feel it, the sense that something extraordinary was about to unfold. At the center of it all stood Coco Gauff, the young warrior whose fearless spirit had already rewritten countless expectations. But this night would test her in ways numbers alone could never explain. 12 double faults. For most players, that number would signal collapse. It would whisper defeat, doubt, and unraveling control. But Coco Gauff was never most players. This was a battle, not just against her opponent, but against herself, the weight of expectation. From the moment Coco stepped onto the professional stage, she carried the weight of something far heavier than a tennis racket. She carried belief, hope, legacy. She wasn't just a promising player. She was a symbol of tennis's future. Fans remembered the fearless teenager who stunned the world at Wimbledon. They remembered a composure beyond her years, the calm intensity in her eyes. She had already proven she belonged among champions. But greatness isn't defined by perfect nights. Greatness is defined by imperfect victories. And this would be one of them. The match begins. Confidence meets chaos. The opening games felt familiar. Coco moved with her signature athleticism, gliding across the court like she was born on it. Her ground strokes were sharp, her returns aggressive, her presence commanding. She took the early lead. But then it happened. A double fault, then another, and another. Each misfire wasn't just a lost point. It was a crack in the rhythm. The serve, normally her weapon, began to feel unpredictable. The ball would fly long, drift wide, collapse into the net. The crowd shifted uneasily. Her opponent sensed opportunity. Momentum began to tilt. Tennis is as much mental as it is physical, and double faults can be cruel. They are self-inflicted wounds. No opponent forces them. No external force causes them. They come from within, and that's what makes them dangerous. The inner battle. On the baseline, Coco paused. She bounced the ball. Once, twice, 3 times. Her face revealed nothing, but inside, a storm raged. Doubt whispers quickly in tennis. What if you lose control? What if this is your breaking point? But Coco had been here before. Not in this exact moment, but in the emotional trenches that define champions. She didn't panic. She adjusted. Instead of forcing power, she chose precision. Instead of fighting fear, she embraced patience. It was a decision that would change everything. 12 double faults, yet still standing. By the second set, the number had grown. 12 double faults. On paper, it was disastrous. In reality, it was irrelevant, because Coco Gauff was still standing, still fighting, still believing. This is what separates elite players from good players. It's not the absence of mistakes. It's the refusal to let mistakes define the outcome. Her ground game became her foundation. Her backhand, already one of the most admired shots in modern tennis, cut through rallies with surgical precision. Her movement became relentless. Every lost point was followed by a response. Every setback answered with resistance. The turning point. Then came the moment. Down in a crucial game, pressure mounting. Coco stepped forward with something new, not physically, but mentally. She stopped fearing the serve. She trusted it, not perfectly, not flawlessly, but courageously. Her next serve landed clean. Ace. The crowd erupted. It wasn't just a point, it was liberation. From that moment forward, everything shifted. Confidence returned. Energy surged. The same player who had struggled moments ago now looked unstoppable. The power of mental resilience. Champions aren't those who never struggle. Champions are those who survive struggle. Coco's victory wasn't defined by clean statistics. It was defined by emotional strength, because tennis exposes everything. Your fear, your doubt, your courage. And Coco showed all 3. But most importantly, she showed resilience. This wasn't just a physical victory. It was psychological dominance over adversity. The crowd becomes part of the story. The fans could feel it. They weren't just watching a match. They were witnessing growth. Every cheer became louder. Every point more meaningful. The energy in the stadium shifted from concern to belief. Because people don't just connect with perfection. They connect with struggle. And Coco's fight made her victory human. Real, unforgettable, a game-changing decision. After the match, analysts would debate tactics, mechanics, and technical adjustments. But the real turning point wasn't mechanical. It was mental. Coco made a decision. She chose courage over fear. She chose persistence over frustration. She chose belief over doubt. That decision doesn't show up in statistics, but it decides matches. It decides careers. It decides legends. The evolution of a champion. Every great athlete faces moments like this. Moments where talent alone isn't enough. Moments where mental strength becomes a deciding factor. This match was one of those moments. Coco Gauff didn't just win. She evolved. She proved she could win imperfectly. She proved she could win under pressure. She proved she could win while struggling. And that's far more dangerous than winning easily. Because now, she knows she can survive anything. The message to her rivals across the tennis world: competitors would take notice because his victory sent a message. Coco Gauff doesn't need perfection to win. She only needs belief. Players who rely on flawless execution can be broken by mistakes. Players like Coco cannot, because their strength isn't fragile. It's internal. It's permanent. The legacy in progress. At just the beginning of her journey, Coco is already shaping a legacy defined not by easy victories, but by meaningful ones. Victories that test her. Victories that challenge her. Victories that transform her. Every match like this adds another layer to her identity, not just as a player, but as a competitor, as a fighter, as a future legend, beyond the double faults. In the end, the 12 double faults became irrelevant. They were not signs of weakness. They were symbols of struggle overcome. Because victory isn't about avoiding mistakes. It's about refusing to surrender to them. Coco walked off the court not as a perfect player, but as something far more powerful. A resilient one. What comes next? The question now isn't whether Coco Gauff can win. She already has. The question is how far she can go. Because matches like this don't just add wins to a record. They build champions. They build belief. They build destiny. And somewhere, in stadiums yet to roar and finals yet to be played, this moment will matter. Because Coco Gauff has learned something priceless. She doesn't need perfection to achieve greatness. She only needs courage. Final thought: the making of greatness. Years from now, fans may not remember the exact score. They may not remember the number of double faults. But they will remember the fight. They will remember the resilience. They will remember the night Coco Gauff refused to be defined by her mistakes. Because that is where greatness begins. Not in perfection, but in defiance. Thank you for watching. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like and share. Till next time.